Good morning, everybody. Reverend Lynn, LaBorde here, coming to you from a very cloudy, very gray Monday morning in New York at 8:30 a.m. I'm in the process of packing up my life and moving to Virginia Beach. Very, very excited. I'm going to be near the Edgar Cayce Center, which is where my whole spiritual journey began when I was 11 years old, and I'll be 60 next year. So it's been really remarkable. Edgar Cayce was known as the sleeping prophet, and he would go into a trance. Hi, Marty. He would go deeply into a trance, and then he would pull information from the Akashic records. And I was so fascinated by this when I first read it. I wanted to get my hands on anything spiritual. I think at the time there was like Eric Von Dayken, Chariot of the Gods, and books on how to meditate. So I learned to have this really long, beautiful breathing cycle where I would breathe into the count of 10. I would hold for 3, and then I would exhale to the count of 10. So when I started practicing to train to be a yoga teacher back in 2005, I did 2 different yoga teacher trainings. Everyone always remarked on how I had this really long breath cycle, really great lung capacity. And I never smoked. Smoked a few times, but we all did as kids. Anyway, so here I sit all these years later. I teach people how to read the Akashic records. I adore the Akashic records. I do Akashic healing with people, which is where we go into the Akashic records, not just to see who you were, but actually to look at the patterns that you have that are being kind of recycled lifetime to lifetime, incarnation to incarnation, and helping people to, I get the right on this, helping people to heal. And I'm doing a retreat at the end of February down at the Edgar Cayce Center in Virginia Beach. So I'm delighted out of my mind to be moving there. It's definitely a journey of spirit. I have no idea why I'm being called, but I'm about to go. Anyway, so here we are with Mary Magdalene, and we are doing our journey of the different lessons of A Course in Miracles. Happy Saturday to everybody. And today we are on lesson number 15. Sorry, lesson number 16. I have no neutral thoughts. The idea for today is a beginning step in dispelling the belief that your thoughts have no effect. Everything you see is a result of your thoughts. There is no exception to this fact. Thoughts are not little or big, powerful or weak. They are merely true or false. Those which are true create in their own likeness. Those which are false create in theirs. There is no more self-contradictory concept than the idea of idle thoughts. What gives rise to the perception of a whole world can hardly be called idle. Every thought you have contributes to truth or to illusion. Either extends the truth or it multiplies illusions. You can indeed multiply nothing, so you will not extend it by doing so. In addition to never being idle, salvation requires that you recognize that every thought that you will have will either bring peace or war, love or fear. A neutral result is impossible because a neutral thought is impossible. There is such a temptation to dismiss certain fear thoughts, as unimportant, trivial, and not worth bothering about, that it is essential you recognize them as equally destructive, but equally unreal. We will practice this idea in many forms before you really understand it. In applying the idea for today, search your mind for a minute or so with eyes closed and actively seek not to overlook any little thought which tends to elude the search. This is quite difficult until you get used to it. You will find that it is still hard for you to not make artificial distinctions. Every thought that occurs to you, regardless of the quality you assign to it, is a suitable subject for applying today's idea. In the practice periods, first repeat the idea, then, as each thought crosses your mind, hold it in awareness while you think to yourself, this thought about cars is not a neutral thought. That thought about packing is not a neutral thought. As usual, use today's idea whenever you are aware of a particular thought which arouses uneasiness. The following form is suggested for this purpose. This thought about bicycles is not a neutral thought because I have no neutral thoughts. 4 or 5 practice periods are recommended if you find them relatively effortless. If strain is experienced, there 3 will be enough. The length of the exercise period should also be reduced if there is discomfort. Lesson number 16, I have no neutral thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and bring Magdalene through. Greetings, beloveds. There are indeed no neutral thoughts, as each thought does indeed create. Every moment of existence is a creation. Therefore, every thought that you think casts out into the world that you perceive a specific reality. As you bring yourself to bear, as you become more and more conscious, as you allow yourself to see that which you think, and then that which you speak, and then the actions that you take through what it is that you do, you will see that you have orchestrated like a grand symphony the entire outline of your existence. You will come to understand and to recognize the pain that you have created through your thoughts of destruction, the disharmony that you have created through the inability to tell the truth about your feelings, feeling that they are shameful, feeling that they are somehow not yours, feeling that it is not okay for them to wind their way through like the energy that they are. You come to believe that there is some aspect of you that is wrong, beloveds, and things should be different than the way that they are. We would like you to understand, dear ones, that this is the furthest from the truth. If you could accept all of you with the love that abides within you, if you could have yet a glimpse of your magnificence, if you could know that the love that you have for others is indeed at times unbearable, because you feel that your heart would burst open with the joy and the love that resides there, you would come to see that every time that you have a thought, whether it is positive or negative, it is manifesting in front of you. You are indeed a being of manifestation. All beings are. Every instance produces a result. This has been likened to your mind being like a field of raw cookie dough. This beloved one loves this analogy. And every thought is like a cookie cutter that leaves an imprint. And as you go through, there is a cookie that is made. And some are made and they are delicious, and some are made and they are burnt. One moment, please. But all along, please understand, beloveds, that there is such power in the thoughts that you think, the words that you choose, the moments of pause that you grant before you speak. For once these words are uttered, and once these thoughts have gone through the chasms of your mind, they cannot be retrieved. Allow yourself to see that there is nothing neutral about that which you think. And this is indeed a course, a process of training and teaching you to think in a different way. When there are moments where the thinking becomes destructive, pause, beloveds, take a breath, and bring yourself to bear to say, I must see this in a different way. And then choose consciously the thoughts that you think. Choose consciously to love Choose consciously to bring love where there had been fear, where there had been a sense of hatred, where there had been a sense that what you perceived in front of you was not the way that it should be. And you will indeed find that as you come to accept what is and what you have created, herein lies the power for you to make a different choice. Herein lies the power for you to say, let me consider looking at this in a different way. Is the way in which I view this, is the way in which I interact with this, is the way in which I observe this something that is true for me now, here in this moment? Or is it being perpetuated by a memory of some other circumstance that is being superimposed on what is being viewed, what is actually being experienced? Does one thing become like another? Or are you able to see who is in front of you? Are you able to see the light that they are? Are you able to see the love that they are? There is a joy and an ease in being present to the truth of yourself and the truth of another, for that truth abides in, as, and through you. And when you bring yourself to the truth, beloveds, you will see that there are no neutral thoughts. And you will understand that you do indeed have the power of the Creator within your mind. For every thought that you think is another stroke of the beautiful painting of life that you are creating. Would you prefer to add green, pink, or blue, magenta, yellow, orange? What consciousness do you want to bring to the thoughts that you think? You are indeed the one who is able to choose. You are indeed the one who is able to direct the flow of the energy. You have all been taught to do this, beloveds, and you have forgotten. And now is the time of remembrance. Now is the time for you to bring yourselves to bear in your own existence. So pause today, dear ones, and allow yourself to consider that you have no neutral thoughts. What will you bring yourself to think? How would you like to see your world manifest? How would you like to see yourself creating your very existence? Here you shall find your freedom, and here you shall find your way back to love, back to light, back to joy, peace, and happiness. Focus on happiness, beloveds. What brings you joy? When you seek out what is wrong, when you look to judge and curse and shame and belittle another, it is merely an extension of yourself. What is it about you that needs forgiveness, that you see in another? Can you forgive? And then accept your own forgiveness and grant yourself peace and love and light, the very truth of you. Our blessings upon you, dear ones, and we shall speak with you again. Thank you all for being with me today. Wish you a gorgeous day, and I will see you again soon. Bye, everybody.